Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Banter with Oye. And today we're going to continue from where we stopped. So we're talking about how the civilian handed over to the military government, the first military government, which is Aguiyi. After Deep Chima signed the order, Aguiyi became the supreme commander of the Nigerian armed forces, which included the army, the air force, the navy, and the police. Now, there was a considerable myth behind Aguiyi because he had like swagger stick that was stuffed with a crocodile mascot, and it was believed that that mascot made him impenetrable, invulnerable. He missed being offed like 3 times, and then there were rumors that he survived the Congo peacekeeping missions as a result of this, mascot thing, and people revered him. Like young officers, they see him and they think like it's a god or something. So now with the handover, there were some ministers, some politicians that felt like the military give over, forced them into handing over. Now, interestingly, you had some people from the MPC and the NNDP. Particularly, there was Richard Akijide of the NNDP, who actually said like, "Oh, they forced us to hand over." But he was also the one that represented the NNDP to congratulate the military and wish them well on their rule of the Nigerian of the Nigerian people. But the interesting thing is whether Aguiyi Ironsi and the military took over by force is just whose angle you are looking at. You have the politicians who were scared shitless of the situation because you still had Iziogu in control of Kaduna at the time, and you still had the possibility of a coup starting up. So they were starting again. So they were afraid of their lives. So if the military is saying the only way we can do this is by us taking over, they would agree. And you had Aguiyi on the other hand, who did not necessarily want to take power, but he felt like he didn't have a choice because you had people within his circle that were saying that they understood why the coup plotters did the coup, even though it wasn't supposed to be violent. So it was more like both parties felt like they didn't have a choice. The politicians felt like they had to hand over for their own safety. Aguiyi also felt like he had to take control in order to be able to, you know, take more decisions. Now, meanwhile, Major Ezeogo was still in control of Northern region, but he did not have any cooperation with Lieutenant Ojukwu because Ojukwu was in charge of the 5th Battalion in Kano, while Ezeogo was in control of Kaduna region. So at this point, Aguiyi also had succeeded in taking control of the entire coup plotters in other regions. The only place he didn't have control over was in Kaduna. As a result, Ezeogo felt confused, he felt alone, he felt abandoned, he felt betrayed, and he was blaming his coup plotters. But then, according to the book made some really important points as to why it wasn't their fault. First, they didn't have military vehicles; they were using civilian vehicles. Secondly, Ezeogo had the opportunity to be able to do a practice of what he was going to do around the Southerners' house. None of them had that opportunity. Secondly, they had to be doing the coup bit by bit, going from place to place. So there were so many things working against them such that they could not have been successful with this coup. And after days of a negotiation between Aguiyi and Eziogu, Aguiyi sent some of Eziogu's friends, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Major Madiebo, Lieutenant Colonel Wawa as intermediaries. Finally, Eziogu gave he submitted to Aguiyi's control, and immediately after that, he was arrested. There were some rumors that Aguiyi had promised that he wasn't going to arrest him, he wasn't going to punish it, he wasn't going to be punished, or him and his coup will not be punished. That was a big that was a big lie. He was arrested, and he was remanded in Kirikiri. 100 NCUs and junior officers were also arrested, and they joined the majors in detentions. Since the coup failed, all the other coup plotters, you had people like Ademoyega, you had Major Tim Otegu, Captain Buile, all of them returned to their posts as if nothing happened. They just went back home like, okay, they didn't catch us. Okay, we're going. It took about few weeks until like middle of February 1966 before they were arrested. You now had, for some unknown reason, some non-Igbo coup plotters were not arrested. You had people like Captain John Swatton, Second Lieutenant Ikpera Egeha, these names, Waribo, those ones were not arrested. The book did not tell us why. It just stated that they were not, a lot of some non-Igbo participants were not arrested. Now, Major Ifejuna fled to Ghana and he was ousted by the president of Ghana at the time, Kwame Nkrumah. But for some reason, his village people told him to believe that the Nigerian government would give him amnesty. He was promised amnesty, and then he came back to Nigeria, and immediately he was arrested. And then when he got to prison, him and Ademoyega were fighting about, who is to be blamed or who is not to be blamed for it. And then you also had, finally, it is January 21st of 96, and they had just found, Tafawa Balewa's body. And you had a couple of convoy and the Prime Minister's ADC and Madaki of Bauchi, Alaji Muhammadu, went to the location of where the bodies were found, and then they picked it up. And for some reason, that became an Igbo conspiracy, that only Igbos were there when they found his body, and it just became a thing. And 2024, we still have so many conspiracies, like how for some reason Peter Obi is being blamed by some people of the protests, current protests that is happening. It's like, why leave these people alone? Anyways, the Madaki himself was present when they were moving prime minister's body, but for some reason he was the one that participated the rumor or the propaganda, and people that were there when they were moving prime minister's body were the commissioner of police Timothy Omo Bate, Balewa's ADC Colonel Austin Peters, and the Madaki himself. So how it became an Igbo thing, we don't understand. The military government, announced the discovery of the prime minister's body. They flew flags at half mast for 3 days. And Iziogu interestingly listed names of people that they were supposed to off. And the name had the Saldana, this is Amando Bello's name on the list. He had Namdi Azikiwe on the list. He had Okpara on the list, Orizu, Okotiebo, and Akitola. But Tafawa Balewa's name, the prime minister's name, was not on the list. Now, Ezeogo said that they wanted to get rid of rotten, corrupt ministers, political parties, trade union, and the whole clumsy apparatus of the federal system. We wanted to gun down big wigs on our way. This was the only way we could not. This was the only way we could not allow them leave if we were to succeed. Fortunately, they did not succeed, and Nigeria is still being led by bad politicians, or Nigeria is still being led by bad leaders. It is what it is. It is sad. And the after effect of this is still ringing loud. Next episode, we'll be discussing the second coup, which is even more bloodier than the first coup. Way sad, way depressing, way heartbreaking. And again, I say that if Eziogo knew what would have happened, knew the ripple effects of what this first coup had caused, he probably wouldn't have done it, because it was terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.